All right, I was gonna record too.
All
So
right. Welcome, everyone, to Birthing Purpose with Lana. We have here today Rickey Burton, the naturally cut creator. He is a licensed fitness trainer and the owner of Naturally Cut Fitness Gym in Manhattan, New York. Woo!
thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Yes, so glad to have you here to talk about your journey in discovering and birthing and being successful in your God-given purpose. But you have a lot of babies. God has impregnated you with a lot of different things. And so we're just going to
Yes,
talk about what we would call from the pit to the palace, because you have an amazing story that so many people would definitely benefit from.
yes, definitely, definitely.
Yes.
A road diligently traveled. I love that word.
So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Lana Smith, and I do birthing purpose workshops to help people birth, discover, and be successful in their businesses or their whatever God has given them to do. And so, one of the things we talk about in the workshop, we begin talking about pregnancy conception and where this purpose come from. So, where would you say your purpose came from? Do you give credit to God for dropping this in you?
Of course, you have to because without him giving you the idea, the gift, the blessing, whatever you want to view it as, it wouldn't have been there
That's
in the
right.
first place. So initially, or first and foremost, I should say, you have to like realize and recognize where those blessings came from.
Amen. Right. And Ephesians 2:10 said we are God's handiwork created in Jesus Christ to do good works, which God prepared for us to do in advance. So everything that we're to do, God placed in us to do.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah. So knowing that God gave you this purpose, how have you stayed connected with him? Well, let me back up. We talk about pregnancy confirmation. So you believe that God gave you this purpose, and were there any confirmations? Like you felt this, but did you get any further confirmation? Like sometimes people have a dream, a vision, or someone will come to them with a prophetic word. Someone will speak into their life. To say, you know what, I'm on the right track with what I feel like God is calling me to do because this person or whatever happened to confirm it.
Well, I can't really say that it happened that way for me. I just know that I could say that he's been putting that on my heart to lead the people for years. It's just I didn't know the right way to do it, how to go about it. So I was like basically waywardly leading the people, the way I knew how, you
Uh-huh.
know?
And
And go
go ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
And it wasn't until prison where I realized, that's when it actually happened, when I realized, like, all right, I can lead the people for good, through good. And we're going to use fitness as the avenue, the boat, the car, the bus, the plane, whatever vehicle you want to choose to view it as.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things we talk about in the workshop is gender reveal. Like, how do you know that what this baby is? So you knew God called you to do fitness. But
Right.
there are people watching that may not know, what God has called them to do. So one of the things that I tell them to ask themselves in the workshop is, what is the theme of your life? What do you do well with the least amount of effort? What do people compliment you for? What are you passionate about? What population do you want to affect? And what problem do you want to solve? So has fitness been the theme of your life? Has it something that you always did with the least amount of effort? Did anybody compliment you and say, you know what, you are really good at this? Can you speak to the viewers about this?
You could say that fitness has definitely been a theme in my life because I've always been athletic. So ever since like the age of 9, I played football all the way to high school. Then I switched to basketball. Then after that, I was an adult. So, you know, by way of prison through fitness. So like you playing football, you got to work out. Playing basketball, you got to work out. You have to be athletic. You have to have endurance, stamina, all those type of things. So yeah, that's since young. That was basically instilled in me, not outright, but indirectly.
So you was working people out in prison?
Yes, definitely. I was definitely training people in prison.
Okay. Another thing that I talk about in the training, because in the workshop, the way I kind of help people through this discovery is I kind of take them through the process of birthing in the natural. And it's kind of like the same journey when you're trying to birth your purpose in God. So, you know, you have the pregnancy conception, you have that confirmation from the doctor, and, you got to go to the doctor and you got to make those God appointments. So we talk about the importance of, staying connected with God, and what that looks like is different for a lot of people. So, for example, some people could keep connected with God through prayer, maybe praise and worship, maybe Bible study, maybe going to church. How did you stay connected with God so that he could take you step by step and give you those instructions or listen to your concerns about what he's putting you to do?
Well, they say when God wants you to hear what he's saying, he'll take you away from everything and everybody, and he'll isolate you so you can hear him. You know what I mean? So basically what I used to do inside, even though I was taken away from the world, I was still around a lot of people. So I used to isolate myself, go in my cell and read my Bible. I used to pray, like I told you, every morning, every night. That was like mandatory.
Right.
So I made sure before I went to sleep, I was good. I was well armed with prayer. I made sure before I got up and left out the cell, I was armed with prayer, and that also, I used to pray for stuff like vision, insight, things like that. Mm-hmm. So I could be able to keep adding these bricks to the empire,
Yeah. So some of the things that you're talking about leads us to this next segment of the workshop, which is vitamins, because when women are pregnant, they have to take those prenatal vitamins to keep the baby healthy. So the same thing when you're birthing your purpose, some people stay motivated because it's tough birthing whatever it is that God has called you to do. So some people might read scriptures, songs make them feel good, motivational videos, maybe read books, or other people to encourage them. What were your vitamins? Did anybody come to you and say, listen, do the doggone thing, you can do the thing, or whatever? What were some of your vitamins? Was it people, song? What was it?
Well, you could say that everything on that list, like from the scriptures, from when I read the Bible, music used to motivate me. I had an enormous amount of, even though I was in prison, an enormous amount of people encouraging me to come out here and do this, and I guess that's from leading by example. Like I lived it, this is what it is. Rickey the Cut Creator Burton. No longer who you thought I was or who you thought you knew. This is a whole nother life, and we're taking people down this road to greatness, positivity, health, fitness, wellness, things like that.
Right. So when you talked about, you said something important, and that was getting away from people, which leads me to restricted activities. Pregnant women, they can't do drugs, drink alcohol, ride roller coasters. There's some things that they, heavy lifting, because these things may abort their baby. So what are some restricted activities that you, or, for example, did you have to, some bad habits you had to shake, maybe some people to get away, some places you couldn't go, some thinking patterns that had to change? Or what are some of the restricted activities that you had to?
Well, that's a good question because, like I told you, and I'm gonna break this down after I say it, I just had to stay away from all the negative nouns. And we all know that a noun is a people, place, or things.
Yes.
So everything that was negative, I had to stay away from. So that's why I didn't come back to Brooklyn when I got out, because I had already made up my mind that I wasn't even gonna think about anything from the past. We were just moving forward, moving upward. Yeah. So in order to do that, certain people you can't associate with. That doesn't mean you don't love them. You just love them from afar now. They're not going in the same direction as you maybe, and you don't want to lose focus. You don't want to look away, take your eyes off the path, because not negating the negative people, places, and things can cause you to lose focus.
How about thinking patterns? A lot of people self-sabotage their own success. Maybe fear, maybe, I don't know if I'm good enough, or, maybe not feeling worthy of the blessing. Did you have any thinking patterns that had to change?
Well, yeah, like, of course, with everything, I think, I'm not going to say I was fearful, but I was a little bit cautious, apprehensive. I questioned myself a lot, but at the end of the day, you have to realize that everybody's success is always on the other side of fear, so you're not going to get to that success unless you go through those things, or you make up your mind that I'm not going to fear this anymore, and I'm going to just move forward. And, I'm going to trust God. I'm going to trust faith. I'm going to trust myself too. My abilities, my capabilities that God has blessed me with to move forward. So, yeah, it was mainly just a little bit of apprehension, which I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have. But like I just said, it's certain things that, and it's mandatory, it's like written. So it's certain things that you have to go through and I have to go through personally in order to get to the goal. And if you decide that you don't want to go through those things, or you're not going to go through those things, you might as well kiss that goal goodbye. You're not going to get there.
Lamont.
So it's about courage. You have to just build up the courage,
So Lamar's class. Most pregnant women go through Lamar's class because they want to learn how to take care of this baby. And some examples of Lamar's class: school, webinars, internships, volunteering, job shadowing, reading books. What are some of the things that you had to do to prepare educationally to birth your purpose?
I had to study. I studied my butt off. I had to. I made everybody who came around me. They basically studied with me. So like. I made everybody who was around me ask me questions out the workbook, on my test book. I used to write up practice tests and make people quiz me, things like that. I used to read a lot. Whatever it is, whatever your craft is, whatever your passion, your desire, you have to dive into it.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people 100%. Don't want to go to school because loans, they don't want student loans. Because school costs, or it's just, school is a lot. So what would you say to encourage those people?
I would say that that's just another aspect or another compartment of fear. If you lock in and we stay focused on that goal, we're not going to worry about that. We're going to handle this. And then once we handle this is going to handle that.
Mm-hmm. And I tell a lot of people, we take out money to buy cars and houses and things like that. And, a car depreciates, but you take out money or a loan for your education, that's forever. No one will ever be able to take that away from you. So I kind of try to teach people to value, the education, and not be so apprehensive about taking out loans for your education, because to me, it doesn't depreciate like a vehicle. So if you could take out a loan for a vehicle, you should be able to take out a loan for.
Oh, definitely, yeah, because that's infinite.
Yeah, exactly.
it's knowledge. Why would, I mean, you can't
Yeah.
stop that, you know? So I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. Prioritizing is a big one. Some people are just so busy. The schedules are just overloaded. They're not getting proper rest. They fatigue and burnout comes. And pregnant women, they have to get that proper rest.
Yes.
So some people are so busy that if God spoke to them to tell them what it is that he called them to do, they wouldn't even have room on their schedules. So I really talk to people about what can you eliminate out your schedule? What can you push to the back burner to make room for what it is that you believe God has called you to do? So how much prioritizing did you have to do? Or, what did you have to put to the back burner? Anything?
A lot of things, because now my life, my way of thinking is different. So a lot of things had to get put to the back burner, and not only put to the back burner, just totally eliminated from my life, in order to properly move forward, So definitely that goes back, kind of piggybacks off that last question with were there any people, places, or things that I had to get away from or stay away from or get rid of?
Right, right. Okay. So, postpartum depression. A lot of times after women have their baby, they're depressed, and it can last up to a year because some of the reasons we've discussed in the workshop, there's unrealistic expectations.
Yes.
The baby may be a greater cost than they expected. Lack of sleep, maybe cost more financially, slow development. Some people's babies are born with disabilities, and so they're not developing like other children. So there are different reasons why people have postpartum depression. So take, for instance, someone who may start a restaurant or whatever business, it's costing them more than they expected. And maybe the business is not growing as fast as they think it should grow. I mean, they want their business to be $1 million business within a year, and things take time. So there are a lot of reasons what would make people a little depressed after they birth their baby. Did you ever experience any type of, I won't say total depression, but just kind of like a little low feeling about birthing your fitness gym?
Yeah, at first, and I experienced that in the very beginning, and I just attribute that to the fact that I had just got released from prison. So I had expected everything to be happening much faster than it was, not realizing that it took capital to make those things happen. So, that little time frame was a little hard for me when, like, working a 9 to 5, knowing that I wanted my own business, generating the capital to be able to do what I need to do, to LLC and to things like that. So that little time frame right there was a little hard for me in the very beginning. It was more mental than anything else, but we're here.
So you talk about funding and things like that you needed to do in order to birth this fitness gym. So that's like nursery and baby shower. You got to get some things in that nursery to care for the baby. So what are some of the things for somebody else out there who might want to start a gym? What are some of the things that you needed beyond funding and LLC? What are some of the other things that maybe people haven't considered that they would need in order to start a gym?
Well, of course, equipment. I think now more than anything, people should be able to get heavy into marketing, social media marketing, because that's big. It's everywhere. So that gives you a couple of different avenues, because there are numerous avenues through social media that you can market yourself.
Right.
And you want to make sure, I tell people, as far as the individual themselves, one of the keys to building a big brand or a big business, you yourself, you have to be personable. You have to be personable. You have to interact. You have to know the people. Don't just coop up in the office. It doesn't work like that. It
Right,
doesn't work like that. You have
right.
to put your all into your passion, into your baby.
Your baby. Yes. Okay. So next topic, labor pains. Right before it's time for you to birth this baby, oh, it hurts, So I know some people who right before they were getting ready to launch this baby, or birth this baby, launch this business or whatever, here come the labor pains. That's, to me, I think about when the devil, the enemy, comes in and turns the heat up because he's trying to stop this thing. So
Yeah.
roadblocks come, temptations come, naysayers come. Did you have any labor pains right before, it was time to birth, that some big thing or something just came in the way that almost shut the project down?
Well, a lot of, as far as that aspect, the labor pains, a lot of my labor pains were different in that aspect.
Okay.
So, for me, I was before I got incarcerated, I was in the streets, so we were making a lot of money. So paperwork is something that I never had to deal with. I just give money and it's dealt with. So now coming out and filling out paperwork and dealing with this department, and they connect you to this department, and it can almost deter you to a point, but you have to you have to have that mental fortitude. So for me, that's the type of stuff that used to be hard for me. It was like paperwork on top of paperwork, and I'm like, why can't I just give you the money and you give me what I want? So, but it
Right.
doesn't work like that. You have to go through the proper channels.
Yes. So now the baby's here. You started the business. Everybody's child gets sick at some point or another. And right now, with this, coronavirus and the shutdowns and the social distancing, a lot of people's babies, businesses, are shut down. They're sick. And so one of the things we talk about when people are struggling and in their businesses or on their jobs, is what is the problem? Who caused the problem? Is this sickness self-inflicted, something you did, or was it contagious? And so with a lot of what's going on with COVID-19, that's contagious. That's nothing
Yeah.
people did. That's outside forces that are causing their babies to be sick. And so then we ask, well, what is the natural or supernatural remedy to help your baby through this sickness and to get back healthy? So you want to share with some of the people what you've had to do in this, any time of the business where your business may have been what we call sick?
Yeah. Well, as an entrepreneur and a visionary myself, it's always about reinventing yourself. So when you have situations like this where confusion arises or tumultuous times arise where you had no control over it was worldly or natural, as they like to say. You have to be able to reinvent yourself. That's a must. You're the leader, you're the head of the pack. So we need to put our leader hat on, our head of the pack hat on, and reinvent ourselves. Think quick. You have to. That's why we're in this position.
So
That's
what are
what it's
some of the things
for.
you had to do?
Well, being that the COVID-19 situation and everybody was forced to practice social distancing, we went to online training. Now we're training virally. We're putting together 30-minute, 45-minute, and 60-minute routines and selling those online. And not even at outrageous prices because we know everybody's in this together. That's the way I look at it, at least.
That's awesome.
So it's just about reinventing yourself and helping others. Like, once again, we're all in this together. So if you see other entrepreneurs struggling that you can help through advice, however, prayer, financially, do it. Help each other, That's what it's about, paying it forward. But that's just some of the ways you survive. You have to be able to reinvent yourself. You have to be able to reinvent yourself. You have to be versatile and you have to be ready to adapt. Period.
Premature birth. sometimes people jump out a little too soon. You're just not ready to do this thing. Some people jump out because they're patient, may have health issues, life expectancy. I don't know how long I'm gonna live. I've got this, illness, and so I gotta hurry up and do this. Or mom and dad passed away at a certain age, so I may not live long either. Or wrong motives, pride, revenge, trying to earn God's love, lack of knowledge will make you go out early. You just didn't know better. Did you do anything prematurely?
No, I don't think I did anything prematurely. As far as
you were right on time. You were making your God appointments. You were hearing clearly, and you were in the Lord.
Yeah. I don't think this baby was birthed prematurely at all. No, I think everything happened right on time. Thank God. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because we also talk about overdue pregnancies and
yes.
things that could delay you from moving into what God has called you to do. Sometimes it's sin, it's fear, laziness, naysayers, people discouraging you, lack of funding, lack of exposure, or maybe you're in the wrong location. Some people want to be an actor, but you live in a city where, it's going to be harder to become an actor, so you may have to move. But for you, you were right in sync. There was no delays you felt in the process.
Yeah. And for a lot of other people, like we touched on a while back, is the fear. Like they second guess themselves, they question themselves, they might even listen to the naysayers, instead of realizing that, honestly speaking, the naysayers, they're just people watching you do what you do. So like, you need to just keep doing what you do, and not really worry about them because they're just watchers,
Right.
They're going to keep watching you do what you do. So.
All right. Red flags. There's always red flags to your purpose. So your purpose has you neglect, disobey, or denounce God. That's a red flag. God gave you this thing to do. Why is it you've left him? Your purpose has you to neglect yourself. Your purpose has you neglect your immediate family. Your purpose has you neglect your other purpose you say God called you to do. So now your purposes are beating each other up. You're no longer interested in your purpose. Your purpose is illegal, immoral, or unethical. Your purpose changes your character from the way of love. You're all bad now. You're looking down on people, So these are some of the red flags that we talk about, just to be careful, not saying that if you're experiencing any of these things that's not your purpose, but maybe you're not doing it right because you shouldn't. These things shouldn't be happening. Were there any red flags in your journey where you say, I got to watch out for this, redo this?
Yeah. For a little while. Once again, when I first came home, like I told you, I was in Newark. So,
okay.
And it's hood. I was in the hood. So it was sometimes causing me to like reflect, but in ways that I didn't want to reflect.
Okay.
So I had to hurry up and get up out of there quick.
Yeah. So for people who, they're at the workshop and, we're going through this whole process and they're still just not sure. And like I tell them, it's okay. Get with God. The longer you stay with God, you're going to know what it is he's called you to do. So we talk about during the wait. During the wait until you know what it is for sure, you stay in God's presence. You do what is right in the sight of the Lord. You walk in the fruits of the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, self-control. Share the gospel. Share what you know about the Lord. Try to get people to turn their life over to God. Jesus, I believe, share your testimonies. Encourage others. Spread the knowledge. Be grateful. Stop complaining. Make no comparisons. Do not compare yourself to anyone else. This is your journey, and it's between you and God, and it's an individual thing. So during the wait, what are some of the things that you did during waiting period, the waiting period?
During the waiting period, I stayed prayed up. I stayed focused, and I like the last two on there. What is the last two on there again?
The last two are to be grateful, stop
complaining, and make no comparisons. All right, so out of everything, I like those the best because, like, when you're in a waiting period, like I said, it's very easy for a person to get distracted, right?
Yes.
So if we're busy making comparisons with others, how focused are we really on what we're doing? You understand? So, like, making comparisons takes away from what you're doing. It takes away, it breeds an air of misery, which goes to the one before it. Because I like the last one and the one right before it. So,
be
like,
grateful.
Be grateful, and don't complain, because that's, like I said, a form of misery. And you don't want that. You don't want that type of energy around all this positiveness and positive things that you're attempting to do, But the main thing is just to stay focused and don't worry about anything else. You stay prayed up, encourage others. I love that one. You encourage others, whether they're in your field, your line of expertise or not. You encourage others because it comes back. What you put out comes back, out into the universe. So you want to encourage others, man. You want to put it out there because you want to show people that it's all about pushing each other to be the best you could be. So as long as you do that, people will also do it for you.
Right. Yeah, I tell people your purpose is not really about you. It's about others.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And look, things changed for me once I realized that.
Mm-hmm. God's positioning system. He's amazing GPS. Like, if you get off track, he will get you back on track. His grace and mercy, it will reroute you because he just loves us so much. And he's put this in us and he wants you to be successful more than you do. So was there ever a time where he had to just kind of get you back on track, reroute you through the process?
Yeah. It was, once again, not going into detail, but there was a time when I thought things weren't happening fast enough, you know? So I said, well, I'm going to just go over here and do this while I'm doing this until this gets where I need it to be. And then it just clicked one day, like, man, you're bugging out. You need to wake up, put some water on your face, cold water, and get from this area. And that's what I did.
Yeah. So for those watching, you want to give them, showcase your baby. This is a time where you can give them information on how to contact you if they want training.
All right.
They can reach you at where?
They can reach me at naturally_cut_fitness on Instagram. You can reach me at naturally cut fitness, Rickey Burton on Facebook. You can reach me at The Cut Creator on YouTube. I'm everywhere. We have naturallycutfitness.com, which is our website, and I have my gym in Manhattan on East 55th, 133 East 55th, between Lexington Avenue and Park Avenue.
So that's naturallycutfitness.com and Rickey Burton
on Facebook.
On Facebook.
And on Instagram is naturally_cut_fitness.
Okay.
And we're the best in the business. The best. The
yes,
best.
you are. You are the best in the business. You know what? It's funny because let's see, Instagram. I'm sorry. I can't type fast enough. I should have had this already done.
That's all right. Naturally_cut_fitness. Fitness.
All right. So let me just share this with those watching. Okay. So, one of the things that I think about is how I've been to fitness classes before. And when I walk in there and the trainer is a little round.
Round as far as what?
I mean, it just don't seem to be in shape. You know, I mean.
Oh, Lord. We're gonna touch on that. That's a whole nother segment now. You know that?
Is there a new trend out here that is it just so
I'm gonna keep it real. It's at them health clubs. Like at Naturally Cut Fitness, you're not gonna see that. You're not gonna see a fat trainer. You're not gonna see a chubby trainer. You're not gonna see an almost chubby trainer. Like
show your muscles. Show them abs. Show them abs. Show them abs. Look. Give them abs. Ugh. Look.
See, it's real life.
You live it. You living it.
Yeah, it's real life. No Photoshop. No Photoshop.
No.
Not at all.
Naturally done. No.
Yes.
Steroids and
no steroids, no magic powders, no special drinks that come from Afghanistan or South Somalia, none of that type of stuff.
You're too happy to be on steroids.
Oh yeah, right?
Steroids make you mean and aggressive.
Yeah, they be mad for no reason. Them hormones be bugging out. They should have just came to Naturally Cut and they would have been all right.
I thank you so much for
coming
here and taking this time with me and sharing with other people your journey, and hopefully something that you've said will resonate with them and will keep them pushing.
Yes, hopefully.
Journey, and not giving up, and being successful and just riding the waves of life, right? That's what life is.
That's right.
Roller coaster, this wave, and you just up. Sometimes you're down, but you stay on it and you'll be back up, right?
Yeah, hold on. That's all you got to do.
And for those who would like any more information about this video or any videos you see on this channel, you can contact me through Instagram, Birthing Purpose with Lana. My email is birthingpurposewithlana@gmail.com, and my website is libertyinchrist.life. I also do deliverance as well, but we do birthing purpose workshops too. And if interested, I can do a free coaching session with you through Zoom. Free, nothing costs here. Just want to help people, like you say, Rickey, give back, be a with people. I don't get paid for this. I just do this because I love people and I love to help people, and that's what it's about. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out to me. And if you want to get with Rickey, once again, let me get you to his information. There you go. naturallycutfitness.com. Rickey Burton on Facebook, Instagram, naturally_cut_fitness.
Definitely. Right? That's it.
All right. Thank you so much.
It was great. Thanks for having me.
All right. God bless.
God bless. Thank you.